Motion is unanimous. Okay, good. We can now go to the 9 items. We already supported 9.1. We'll go to 9.2. Anyone here on item 9.2? This is a public hearing regarding...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
can we
ma'am.
please take a vote on 9.1?
We already did.
We voted on it earlier. We don't.
Yeah.
Started the meeting.
9.1.
Remember the gentleman was up on the 1 items. We did 9.1 while he was standing up here.
This is Economic Development Agency
Yeah.
public hearing regarding Information Community Facilities District, Bella Vista 2. Is anyone here to give that presentation? Please.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the Board. Before you is item 9.2 for CFD 17-2M, Bella Vista 2. Staff recommends that the Board conduct a public hearing, receive public comment, conduct a majority protest proceeding, and after, close the public hearing. At the close of the public hearing, we ask the Board to adopt Resolution Number 2017-073, authorizing the levy of special tax within said district. Call a special election, establish appropriations limit, and designate the election official. That is all. If you have any questions.
Excuse me. Okay. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on item 9.2? See no one, I'll close the public hearing and move approval of item 9.2. Supervisor Ashley. Motion is unanimous. Thank you. Going to item 9.3, the public hearing on adoption of ordinance 857.1, Stormwater Compliance Program. Patty.
Good afternoon. Before you today is the public hearing and adoption of ordinance number 857.1, Business Stormwater Compliance Program. Some key modifications to that program is to change the title from Business Registration and Licensing to Business Stormwater Compliance Program, since it's for stormwater compliance. Also changing language to make sure that we're less intrusive to businesses, or we're removing the language that allows inspectors to enter a business at any time. Inspectors will provide advance notice and coordinate with the business owners prior to inspection. And clarifying that the intent of the ordinance is for stormwater compliance and not business inspection or business practice registration. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer.
Yay.
Thanks, Patty. Anyone here in the audience to speak on
Way to
item?
go, Patty. I said, way to go, Patty. We're getting more business friendly.
Anyone here to speak on item 9.3? Excuse me, have no request to speak. Therefore, I'll close the public hearing on item 9.3. This is for all district. I'll move approval. We already had a motion by Supervisor Jeffrey, seconded by Supervisor Ashley. Motion is unanimous. Taking this to item 9.4, also by Magnolia Loop, changing the name from Magnolia Avenue to Magnolia Loop. This is where the new, Magnolia Bridge took place in Home Gardens.
So this item is to change the name of the frontage roads that were created because Magnolia Avenue was elevated, eliminating the business's access directly to Magnolia Avenue. So in order to have customers more easily access those businesses, we're proposing to change the name to the Magnolia Business Loop, differentiating it from Magnolia Avenue.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Have you received any objection letters or anything to that effect or support? No. I see
No, it was actually a request from the business owners.
No, I have no request to speak, so I assume we're okay. So I'll close the public hearing on item 9.4 and move approval of that item. Actually, we have a motion by Supervisor Jeffrey, seconded by Ashley. Motion is unanimous. Okay, that takes us to the main event today on the public hearings, Public hearing on adoption of resolution 2017-015, dissolving the Highgrove Municipal Advisory Council, MAC. We have some speakers. First, I'll call on Artie Barnett, followed by Barney Barnett. You each have 3 minutes. And when I call your names, please step up to follow the speaker preceding you. After Barney will be Janet Abbats. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Hi, Artie.
Thank you, Supervisors. I'm actually here to read a letter that was written, I believe, to Supervisor Tavaglione and also to us. And this is in regards about not dissolving the Highgrove MAC. And he wrote, as a resident of Highgrove, I strongly urge you and your other board members to save the Highgrove Municipal Advisory Council. The MAC is responsible for advising your board of supervisors about public safety, planning, transportation, parks, and community development. Given the significant amount of property redevelopment happening in Highgrove's relatively small community, I would hope your board would seek as much input as possible from your constituents. I live in Spring Mountain Ranch in Highgrove. We bought one of the new homes about 18 months ago. When I visited the sales site at KB Homes in Highgrove on Pigeon Pass, I was shown a rendering of the new community that will eventually consist of more than 1,500 homes. I was so ecstatic about Highgrove that I bought a 5-bedroom, 2-story house directly across from the street from an open field that I shared by KB Homes would soon be a new elementary school called Presidio Elementary. If you eliminate the MAC, who will advise you about things like the proposed new school or building and infrastructure that a small community like Highgrove so desperately needs as more apartments and houses are built? Who will be our voice to make sure the best interests of the community are being considered, and not just a developer or city manager's bottom line? I've worked in Riverside for almost 20 years, both at the Press Enterprise and University of California, Riverside. I understand and appreciate the communication required for any successful partnership between a community and its elected representatives. Save the MAC. Show the Highgrove residents our voice and opinions still matter. And this was written by Jeff Gerard, and he's a resident of Highgrove.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Artie.
you.
Barney? And again, if the speaker following the preceding speaker would please step forward so we can get through the speakers as quickly as possible. Barney will be followed by Janet Abbats.
Just as a comment before I start, she had to go home. She was sick. Janet Aboites won't be able to speak.
Then Barney, you'll be followed by Melanie Zimmerman.
My name is Barney Barnett. I'm the former chairman of the County Service Area 126 and the Highgrove MAC. Here's something that's very important to think about. Over 8 years ago, a developer wanted to fast-track building warehouses on 40 acres right in the middle of Highgrove. Highgrove residents opposed the warehouses and waited 5.5 hours to speak, but the warehouses were approved on January 13th, 2009. Fortunately for the Highgrove residents, the fast-track permits expired, and today the land is still vacant. But the land was recently sold, and the 40 acres have been approved that will become a shopping center, townhouses, condos, and apartments, which is more compatible to our community than warehouses. Also, on another matter, Supervisor Tavaglione's letter about the dissolution of the Highgrove MAC dated March 8th stated a public hearing on this matter will be held on March 14th. At the March 14th meeting, 4 residents spoke under public comments. These public comments from March 14th should be added to today's video to become part of the public record. Those speakers were Dennis Kidd, Janet Aboites, Artie Barnett, and yours truly, Barney Barnett. Please do not stop the communication between the Highgrove MAC and our county supervisor. The MAC is the only organization in Highgrove that represents the people from this fast-growing area. And if you don't want to send someone to our community meetings, don't send them and have any expenses there, but please keep the Highgrove MAC.
Okay, thank you, Barney. Melanie Zimmerman, and Melanie has 6 minutes, with 3 provided by Kathleen Cochran.
I don't know if I'll need the whole 6 minutes, but just to cover myself.
take
I
what-
have a package here. Let me back up. Good afternoon, gentlemen. That I'd like you to all have. Some of these things you've already heard, but I think you might want to have to look at while I go over some of this stuff.
Okay.
I did some researching on this and by the good old internet. And before I get started on this, my name is Melanie Zimmerman. I have lived in Highgrove for 37 years. Now that's just, I have probably lived in Highgrove longer than that. That's just how long I've been married with my husband in Highgrove. I love the area. I love the people. I love the life. I love the whole area, the community, and everything. I appreciate being part of the MAC. I appreciate the growth that the MAC has provided for the community. And I look forward to continuing being a MAC member. Attached, you will see, I have given you, which you might have already seen, is the land use planning activities in Highgrove. I added a few items to it. Item 3, with the townhouses and the condos that Barney was talking about, when this developer came to our community meeting, he didn't have another chance to meet with us because his time was up to come meet with the Board of Supervisors. So we worked with him, and the residents weren't real excited about his idea. So we offered him the idea of less apartments and more condos. He worked with us on that, and we said, okay, we can do that. So at that meeting, the MAC was good with working with the community and the developer. So he got what he wanted, and we got what we wanted, and everybody was happy. The next item I have on here is, this happened a few years ago. I don't remember just when, and I can't remember the developer's name. But we had an instance where a developer that was presenting a development of homes for the Board of Supervisors, that he had been to the MAC meeting and took Barney and I around to show what he can develop and what it looks like. And he came back to the MAC and talked to us, and we said, okay, we'll approve it. Well, the next thing I know, he's presenting his development of homes to the Board of Supervisors along with a grocery store, which was not discussed and was not approved by the community. In the end, though, he ended up, I think, going bankrupt because he never did develop anything. But the thing was, we were working together, so it is a good thing that the MAC was there to see this, where this developer was trying to sneak in something in front of the board. Now, also I added a few more of new developments that I don't think Barney might have known about. Let's see. Let me think here where I'm at. Michigan and Commerce Center Way in Grand Terrace. Oh, I don't know if I have that sheet, doggone it. I think it got lost. My computer printer broke down this morning. I ran out of ink. I'm terribly sorry, so I'm a little unprepared. I didn't get all my paperwork, and I apologize. It made me quite upset. Okay, now I'm going to go back over. We all basically know what the MAC is. The MAC is responsible for meeting with the community and assisting with concerns from the local residents and business owners who are in need of specific services or simply need information about county processes. The MAC is also tasked with presenting new development projects and overall general issues to the community. And that's where I have down here, see attached, is the property and the activities and the planning that we have for the community. The councils face two ways: toward the county, offering the views of the community, and toward the community, supplying information about the county proposals, and a place where individuals can air opinions on community problems and perhaps receive help from code enforcement, planning department, sheriff's department, and CHP. We're the closest thing that our community has to an old town meeting, and it's a good community. It really is. Now, as I was searching, I found an interesting study that I'd seen was written by a gentleman of Jack A. Fuller in Sacramento about the MACs, and it was a 54-page publication, and I found it quite interesting, and I highlighted a few things in there that I think you might want to look at, and if you're more interested in it, you can look it up online. MAC's other concerns are the park development, police services.
Need to wrap up. You have 10 seconds.
Okay. Community safety members and community use MAC assistance within the hand pumps. Anyways, we need our MAC, and it's really worth having it. So I appreciate if you finish looking at my paperwork, unless somebody else wants to give me their minutes.
All right, thank you. David Amdahl. David here. Okay, come on up. David, you have 6 minutes given, 3 minutes given to you by Marlene Ritz. And David will be followed by our last speaker, Becky Luther. Is Becky still here? Hi, Becky.
My name is David Amdahl. I've lived in Highgrove for 42 years. During this time, I've seen several of my neighbors' septic systems fail, and they've had to put new ones in different areas of their property because they didn't have any option. Since the main line was put in many years ago down Center Street, but no laterals were put in, they had been put in, they could have opted for a sewer hookup. I understand that the money for this would likely be put on residents of Highgrove through higher taxes or their utility bills, same as what the Hoopa Valley sewer was put in years ago along that precedent. As for now, the only ones using the sewer system are the few county buildings, the new construction going in, and a few residences' old houses who are close to the main line who paid some crazy fee to hook up to the main line. We need the Highgrove MAC to keep the line of communication open between residents and supervisors in the 2nd District. I hope that the board will be remembered as doing the right thing for the residents of Highgrove. I'd also like to say something on some roads that need to be put in, short extensions on the road to help alleviate some of the traffic that is going to be put in there with all these new houses. Half-mile extensions on the Michigan and Grand Terrace to Highgrove to connect Columbia to Riverside. And another short half-mile extension on Spring Street westward at Transit Avenue to connect to Citrus at the base of Iowa Avenue overpass. Another reason to keep the Highgrove MAC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Becky? Former CDF.
Still CDF.
Are you still CDF? Good.
With State Farm Marshal now.
Okay, that's right. I apologize.
Still employed till December. Thank you, Chairman and board members of the board, for hearing us in a little town called Highgrove. As a member of the Highgrove MAC, it has been very frustrating lately of some of the actions of a few of the board members, in which that have been printed in the Highgrove happenings. It is the view of one person and not the whole committee. We feel that somebody's actions in going to RCTC and other political situations or political people and asking for things, it's without our board knowing about it. So in that, it is very important that we keep the MAC board for our little tiny community. We are growing. We have new homes, apartments, and communities. Citizens can come into our meeting and we can discuss some things like the burglaries that have been happening, our mailboxes being destroyed, and is able to help understand what the Sheriff's Department can explain things to our community. We also have folks that are running stop signs on a regular basis and having CHP come in and help us with those. Code enforcement, fire department, animal control has saved our community several thousands of dollars by having their little mobile spade and neuter clinic. It's been very helpful. So I would like to assure you personally that I will make sure that this board runs the way it is intended to run. And you have my word on that. And March 15th, Mr. Barnett did resign. And on the 30th, Mr. Dennis Kidd also resigned. Both of them having over 25 years of service in Highgrove. But we continue to want to maybe restructure the board. That would be a viable thing to do. So I ask you that we keep our little community. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Becky. Anyone else here wishing to speak? Please come forward. State your name.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mary Losh. My husband and I come to you as 35-plus member of the community in Highgrove. I originally came from Iowa. Highgrove is like a little piece of Iowa for me. I love my community. There isn't one thing I would want to change about it, except to bring the orange trees back and the blossoms. We have had many changes to our area recently, with the ending and selling off of the groves and all of the development. Our community is in need now more than ever of the already proven and successful MAC. We do not understand why it would be ended and do not want it to be. In fact, under Supervisor Ashley, the CSA was strengthened to a MAC. Just this morning, we heard praises of other people saying that they had unincorporated areas of the county and that they worked with you, and it was a great win for both sides. We'd really like to continue that. We love our community, and just because that we haven't been active or attended meetings doesn't mean we don't care, aren't informed, or that we don't support the MAC. We have just always approved of what they have done and the way that they worked with everyone and what they have accomplished, so we didn't see the need to be active. This is my first meeting ever. And it was my first meeting ever to attend a MAC meeting, not a gathering, about a week ago. And the ending of it, I guess, kind of woke me up and made me see that our voice and our vote and our input into our area is very important. And I would hate to see that to end. And you guys might, retire in 15 or 20 months and go on to great things, but we'll still be in the community. And we want to be long-term members, and I want to live there, and I want to leave that legacy for my nephews. My husband and I don't have children, but we would love to leave that legacy. We love our community. So we're just asking that even though you might not want to maybe attend the meetings or maybe they would be restructured or something, we would really implore you to keep the line of communication open. And I can assure you that I'll attend some more, and that I'd be more input and more value to our community, instead of just reading about it and sitting on the side burner.
I appreciate that. What is your name again?
So please consider and maybe postpone this, or maybe see if we can work a little bit better together, but we'd really love to see that
And I
stay.
appreciate that. What is your name again?
Mary Losh,
Mira?
yes.
Mira, okay.
And it's Losh.
Losh?
Yes. I like to say it's like lush, only with an O.
Okay, thank you.
It's easier to understand.
All right, thank you very
I
much.
thank you for your time.
Appreciate you coming in today. Any other speakers on
Oh,
this?
and you have one last item. I have a petition that was signed by members of the community. If I
Great.
could come
If
back.
you could leave that with the clerk, just over
I'm
here,
sorry, I
just,
didn't mean
or
to,
with the deputy. Thank you.
I didn't mean to hit the microphone.
That's all right. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Let me just say this, and I appreciate Ms. Losh mentioning, I think what she was referring to earlier about other speakers coming forward. Earlier in the morning, when the city of Eastvale came forward and gave me surprisingly gave me a nice plaque. I've been on this board 22 years. I have 20 months left before I retire, and that'll be 24 years. I've never had a MAC, but yet I've had the largest, up until I took over Highgrove from Supervisor Ashley, who did a wonderful job in Highgrove, and then before him Supervisor Mullen, and then before him Supervisor Younglove. All three of them doing wonderful jobs of representing the Highgrove area. I represented different areas. The largest unincorporated, populated, urbanized area of the county of Riverside, Harupa Valley. Over 100,000 people, unincorporated. Yet I never had a MAC. You heard the people from Eastvale today come forward. That was all Dairyland when I took office. Dairyland, rural Dairylands. And we knew it was going to become a city someday. We brought together the landowners, the dairy owners. We brought together certain developers that had some of the properties tied up. We brought together the service districts that served that area, sat them down and said, if you're going to build this community and make it a community, you're going to do it the way we want it done, or else you're never going to get anything approved. And that means schools, parks, infrastructures, fire stations. You're going to do it the right way, or you're never going to get it approved at the Board of Supervisors. And we worked very well together. And if you ever have driven through the city of Eastvale, now a city, you will see that it's a beautiful community. One of the first members of the community that I worked with was the city manager, the young lady that you saw out here with the dark hair today. She was one of the first community members. She went out and got her degree. She was a young mother at the time. She went out and got her master's degree. Another lady who we held the first community meeting with in her garage, not a young lady my age, was a lady by the name of Jane Anderson. She now sits on the Harupa Community Service District, along with another resident of Eastvale, Dickie Simmons, who moved into the community of Eastvale to follow his kids, former LAPD detective. Why do I say that? Because it's about the supervisor getting involved with the community, not having to have a MAC to get involved with the community, but by working with them to get involved with the community and listening to their issues and having an open door. And let me say that we approved probably at least 50 residential tracts out there in Eastvale, in addition to, I don't know how many commercial developments, supermarkets, big box, there's a Best Buy, there's a number of others out there. Probably 3 or 4 million square feet of industrial facilities. It's a well-balanced community. 4 years ago, it became a city. We helped support that. Go across the freeway, and there's 100,000 people in what was a deteriorating, literally a deteriorating community of Harupa Valley. No max. And you had all these little pockets of a community that they wouldn't even communicate with each other. And I will tell you, they hated each other. Pockets of community that hated each other. And some of them probably still do. But they're a city, Becky knows. That's where I got to know Becky, because she was with the fire department out there. I thought she retired, I forgot. She's a fire marshal. And but we worked together and we made it happen, and we approved a few tracts out there, not as many as Eastvale, but a lot of industrial. And we did that by having an open door policy to advise the supervisor's office and to make things have an open door policy. And that's why I don't need a MAC. I'm going to disband the MAC. The MAC got out of hand because of the leadership on the MAC. This was Barney Barnett's show. I'm sorry, Barney, this was your show. This was about the Highgrove Metrolink station and the Highgrove Happenings newspaper. Had nothing to do with the city of or the community of Highgrove of 35 or 4,000 people. And when I found out that through a very reliable source that, Barney, you were trying to change the minutes to suit you of the meetings, that you were going to the grand jury to try to use MAC funds to sue the county, or to hire an attorney to sue the county, it's when I finally said enough is enough. And in 20 months, the community can do what they'd like to do. But in the interim period, I'm going to ask Becky Luther, who I know well, saw how my office works in Harupa. I'm going to ask you, Becky, if you don't mind, to be my point of contact. And I heard from Mira Loesch, who said she came from Iowa. And it sounds like you'd like to be a little involved. And I'm going to ask you to work with Becky Luther, if you don't mind, Becky. And you know how to get a hold of my office, Karen Christensen, Jason Farron. And you know I have an open door policy, and we'll do everything we can to keep you in the loop. The developers of the community, the Bill Shopoffers of the world, the Tony Mize of the world, who I've known for 30 years, our dads were friends, and that's how we met each other. We're going to continue to work together, and I'm very proud to know them. And we're going to make this happen, at least in the next 20 months, and you can do whatever you want. The community can do whatever they want after that. So I'm going to move approval of this item 9.5.
Mr. Chairman?
You'd like to talk? Supervisor Washington?
Yeah. I was going to say what you just said. I think people feel like they need that official structure to be able to reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to applaud what you laid out for them. That because I've had areas in my district that feel like they need a MAC to be heard, and they don't. And we go out in the communities wherever we're asked to go and speak and talk, and I think that's an important message for our constituents to hear. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just say it again. You do not need a MAC to speak to your supervisor. Supervisors, I know all my colleagues up here, they have open door policies. And sometimes the MACs can be what's the word I want to use? A platform or what am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I can't come up with the word. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Supervisor Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to point out that in place of a MAC or a CAC or whatever their different options are, in the first district, in the Lake Matthews community, we have a residents association that is not tied to the county and operates independently of the county, and they still have community meetings and community events, and it doesn't have to be county supported or under the thumb or the regulations of the county. And for that rural community, it suits them just fine.
I like that. Can I have my chief get in touch with you? I want to maybe model that for a couple areas of
It
my
works for
district.
them.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And Becky knows that if she feels that we need to go out and there's a critical item that we need to go out and have a community meeting, she knows to call or come see us and we'll have a community meeting. That's what we do. All right, thank you, colleagues. So I will move this item. The motion passes. Thank you. Now takes us to our items on the agenda are... Did we ever get to public comments? Is there anyone here to speak on public comments? Now that we've, I think, passed that up. 16-1?
Have we done 10.1 already?
Yeah, we did pass over public comments. Anyone here to speak on just open public comments? I don't see any, so we'll go to item 16-1. Yeah, we did.
And away we go.
Thank you, Chairman and members of Board of Supervisors. I'm here to present item 16.1. This is a county proposed foundation component general plan amendment number 1205. The proposed general plan amendment 1205 proposes to amend the general plan foundation component and the land use designations of 503 parcels, totaling about 804 gross acres located in the Good Hope community area. This general plan amendment proposes to change the foundation component from rural to rural community and the land use designations to mixed use area, medium density residential, very high density residential, commercial retail, and light industrial. Staff recommends that the Board of Supervisors adopt an order initiating proceedings for GPA number 1205. Staff does have a presentation if the Board of Supervisors wants one. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, are there any questions for staff? The clerk is standing up. You've got